I am so obsessed. I want to choke down on the I need it, but can't she when I make I see one you're my love, if you make it bad,
Hello, and welcome back to the Lunchin with Lisa show. This is season 3, and we're excited, like we always are on Thursdays, to welcome you back because we have great guests here. And we tell great stories and we inspire. We do all kind of good stuff over here. So glad you all are checking in. I wanted to first say happy birthday to all of the birthday people out there. I'm not sure where we are in the zodiac, but happy birthday. I usually don't care till it's Taurus season, but we got a long way to go. So. But happy birthday to everybody and happy anniversary to all those people who are celebrating love. Y'all know I'm a mushy gushy. So I always want to say happy anniversary to everyone. And I also want to say congratulations to everybody, whether you're graduating, just opened your own business, whatever you're doing, celebrate. I'm a celebrator, cheerleader, all that good stuff. So congratulations to you. And again, welcome back to Lunchin with Lisa. You all know we come on every Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please take a quick minute. Don't leave, but just kind of lean over and say, hey, Grandma and Auntie and Uncle, tune in. You can catch us live on the Lunchin with Lisa Facebook page and on YouTube. So please go over there and subscribe and check us out because we have a wonderful show. Before we get started and introduce our guest, I also wanted to let you all know that Shariva Smith, who's behind the scenes, because Lunchin with Lisa is actually produced by DSM Media behind the scenes. We actually have a business where we actually love to support people who are trying to do the same thing we're doing. We do graphics, we do commercials, we do social media postings, your intros, your outros. We want you to be prepared. So all you have to do is come into the room and talk to your people. So if you're looking for something like that, you're interested in starting your own show, let us know. Reach out to us. We have a page on Facebook, DSM Media. And we also have a couple of shows. We're not sure when they're coming back, but if you all are familiar, we had the Moms We See You talk show that came on Saturday mornings. And we also had Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul that came on Tuesday. So they should be joining us soon, if not this year, going into 2023. But if you're interested in the day and we're open to it, please let us help you to make those dreams come true. We're also looking for sponsors. So if you're interested in sponsoring a show or even sponsoring a month, reach out to us at info.dsmmedia@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to talk to you about how to do that. So without further ado, hello, Sharon. Welcome to the room. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back and introduce our guests. So we'll be right back.
I love you like la 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 la. I love you like la 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 la. I love you like la 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 la. I love you like la 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 la.
So welcome back. So I'm excited to introduce you to our guest. I am pretty sure you all already know her. But for those who have been hiding under a rock somewhere or never watch anything on a computer or whatever, I'm going to open this up to the people who follow Lunchin with Lisa. So I want you to introduce you to Dr. Vikki Johnson, who is a transformational speaker, chaplain, spiritual wellness practitioner, best-selling author of 12 books, and founder of Soul Weath, LLC. Her most recent book, Soul Weath, Finding Vision, Compassion, Authenticity, Abundance, and Legacy in the Midst of Chaos, is impacting readers globally. She supports women leaders via her Soul Weath Academy, and her mission is to guide women to manifest abundance in every area of their life, build their own tribes, grow their own businesses or careers, and create the life they truly desire. She believes that in every moment we live, in every moment we live at choice, self-awareness is key. A graduate of Howard University. I got to shout them out because my sister's a graduate. Yes. And she also completed the Women's Entrepreneurship Certificate program at Cornell University. Dr. Johnson empowers women to break up with the status quo in their lives, to be great in the mirror first, and then amazing in the marketplace. Her daily podcast, the Soul Wealth Radio Show, is available on all podcast platforms. The show can also be heard live each day at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on dcradio.gov. Her passion is to strengthen relationships among women by sharing life strategies for next level results. With almost 40 years in the entertainment industry, she is an Emmy Award and NAACP Image Award winning media professional who worked at BET Networks for over 18 years. She's currently serves in the Mayor's Office of Cable Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment. And that's OCTFME. You know, we love our acronyms, right? For the District of Columbia on the film team and other special projects. Dr. Johnson is a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Inc., National Association of Black Female Executives in Music and Entertainment, and the Women Speakers Association. She enjoys hiking, swimming, spending time with family and friends, and working on her family's historic preservation project. So we're going to give you more information on how to visit her at her website, which is www.vikkijohnson.com. But for now, you get to talk to her in person. Welcome, Vikki, to the Lunchin with Lisa show. I think you're on mute.
There it is. Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I was just talking, lunching. I was lunching.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the Lunchin with Lisa show. We are happy to have you with us.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. It's about time. Long time coming. And just excited to kick it with you tonight. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way. I've been excited to bring you on here. And actually, I wanted to kind of get into where Soul Wealth started. And I was going to actually start off by I remember an event that I went to years ago, and it might have been a Tawan Lowe women walking in your own shoes or something, but you
10 years ago.
Yes, that was a long time. It was 10 years ago because she's celebrating 10 years.
Yeah.
And you had, I don't know if it was a book or something, but it was Vikkiisms.
Yes.
Yes, I remember that stayed in my head for 10 years. So we might dip back a little bit and you can tell us about that. But tell us where Soul Wealth came from.
Well, Soul Wealth is the most recent book that I released in 2019. Vikkiisms, I believe, was in 2011, 2012. But Soul Wealth came about, it was birthed in 2013, 2014, when I was preparing for a TED Talk in December of 2014, specifically, is when I just got the download and the clarity. The TED Talk was it's available it's entitled The Power of Sacred Sisterhood, which is my wheelhouse. And when I was preparing for that, as I was preparing my TED Talk, again in December 2014, what I heard was when women connect, collaborate, and create community, the result is soul wealth. And immediately I thought of the scripture in 3 John that says, God desires that we prosper and be in health, even as our souls prosper. That dot goes there. Our soul is the seat of our emotions. So our life can only be as healthy and as well as our emotions, regardless of our accomplishment. So that was kind of the puzzle pieces, if you will, of how Soul Wealth was birthed. And after that TED Talk, it just kept evolving, and it continues even today to evolve now almost 7 years later. So it is definitely who I am now. When people see me, they're like, that's the the Soul Wealth lady. Even if they don't know my name. And, I have a mentorship tribe. I have t-shirts and hoodies and, Scullies and, tank tops. I have candles and room sprays. So you can take Soul Wealth home with you. And the 5 tenets of Soul Wealth are vision, compassion, authenticity, abundance, and legacy. First in your life, if you don't have a vision, you perish, right? Vision, compassion. If you're not taking care of you, I often share that we should live and lead and love and serve from our overflow, not from our capacity, because our capacity is for us. So when you start practicing boundaries, when you start practicing self-love, self-care from a place of self-awareness and self-regulation and discipline, that's emotional intelligence. Now you have compassion, and frequently the overflow of compassion is what you show to other people. Authenticity is a third tenet. There's no one else like you. We have enough of everybody else. So I don't care how much you master duplicating what you see someone else doing. One of my mentors now, is teaching us in our group, it's not about competition. It's about you being creative. Who has God created you to be? And when you peel back the layers that life has put on you and you show up in the world authentically, now you can unlock your abundance, not just one time, perpetually. And not just money, but peace, love, joy, happiness, prosperity, all of the things that abundance encompasses. And then finally, when you're living that life of abundance perpetually, you know what you're doing? You are not only preparing your legacy, you're living it. And that is what my passion is to get women to the place where they get to enjoy the legacy that they are building and the legacy that they will leave, so that other people will be able to recognize their imprint in the earth and know that you were here. So that's kind of a overview of what Soul Wealth is, but it's a lifestyle, it's a community, it's a suite of products via my website, and it's a way of being, of being emotionally well, emotionally intelligent, so that you can leave your imprint in the world and people will know that you were here.
Well, and I like the whole setup because when you were talking about authenticity, what I was thinking about, and I didn't realize until I was just listening to you. And sometimes when we're trying to mimic someone else or follow what they're doing and we're not embracing our own individuality with it, it slows us down actually. And I thought about, like, when you're moving in your own space and you're not worried about what the left and the right is doing and just moving in your own, you actually keep moving. You move faster and things just come to you, but it tends to slow you down when you're trying to figure out what somebody else is doing and mimic that. So I like the authenticity of it, because we're all doing something that's similar, but I mean,
there's something about each of us that makes us unique. And I like to say the thing that makes you weird is your superpower. That's what makes you stand out. And frequently, when you're called to do something big, that weirdness has been squashed, right? Either by your teachers in school as a child, or if you come from a faith community and you grew up in church, or your family, like somewhere along the way, you had to be crushed, right? Because you stood out. It made you weird. You're strange. And I have learned as a lifelong thumb, the one standing out, not fitting in, that is your superpower. That is the thing that is going to cause you to explode. I mean, say what you want. I'm lunching right now just for a moment. Say what you want right now. But everybody knows who Kanye West is. Everybody knows.
Right.
Whether you like him, don't like him, agree with him, can't get with him, he is a genius, okay? Because he knows how to pivot and stay top of mind for you, even if when you think about him, it's an irritation, right? But that's his genius. He is brilliant. with being who he is authentically, regardless of the circumstance. So that's really courage. If you think about it, Kanye is gonna Kanye. That's what I tell people all the
Yeah,
time.
that's true.
Why are you giving so much energy to him? He's just a great example of someone living in his authenticity, right? Regardless of public opinion, whether he has it or not. Kanye is gonna Kanye. People have opinions, and he's still rich.
Yeah, well, that part. It's not slowing down the money on some level. You're right. And that's the only way you keep moving, because you stay in your own lane, you stay in your own space. When you dip out is when you slow down. So I like that. But Soul Wealth is I mean, if you all don't know, the tribe is huge. I mean, it's
and growing. I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. When I think of Vikki, I think of Soul Wealth. Even if you've done other things, like the Vikkiism stayed with me though. That stayed with me. But Soul Wealth, it's like every time I might not see things for a few, or I might be off of Facebook or wherever, but I know when I see Soul Wealth, I know who that is. I know who you talking to, who you connected to. I know all of that, and that's a good thing. And actually, Soul Wealth together is just powerful. Just, I mean, the words together, it just draw you in.
Thank you.
And I know that a lot of people might see it and sometimes don't ask questions, so they don't know. So I like that you kind of share with them what it's really all about so that it grows.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. And right now, I'm really clear about the assignment, Lisa, that my focus is to flood the earth with soul wealth, that it become a household name, and it is on its way to doing that. It's about an embodiment of wellness, of wholeness, of healing, of living in ease and flow. That's the season I am in my life, and intend to stay in this space of ease and flow as we flood the earth with soul wealth, because that is God's dream for us, that we prosper in every area of our lives and be in health, even as our souls or our emotions prosper. When we are living in alignment, that's the dream. That's God's dream for us, is for us to be in alignment, because even physically, if you're out of alignment, there's nothing like the ache of living out of alignment physically in your body. If something is going on with your spine or your posture, we were just talking about, sitting all day and our chairs and things like that. So alignment is critical to living in ease and flow.
When the reason I connect with it, and some people may know some of my story with how and I think this is why I connect to Soul Wealth, is that I had a moment in my life where things were just really chaotic and I was stressing about it. I was always talking about it. And we've talked about the power shift, but that's where that came in, because I think I was talking so much about something that I literally had no control over as far as someone else changing it for me, but I wasn't getting it. I was hard-headed, and then it became a physical thing for me. So I ended up, I couldn't swallow. I couldn't, I lost 50 pounds, just mentally and health-wise, it took me down. But I think it was the way that he was trying to get me to reconnect. It was a soul wealth moment for me, because it's like, okay, Lisa, you got to reconnect with Lisa. You are trying to control all these outside entities, and you're out of touch with what you're supposed to be doing. But once I got into that space, and people laugh about it, but I said, I think I became allergic to it. I said, but literally I could not be in a room when the energy changed without starting to have those issues of swallowing again. And I connected it quickly and said, okay, I need to remove myself, because now my body is reacting to the energy. And it changed my whole life as far as how I view, how I interact with people. And you all will check out our TikTok moment that will directly connect to, I kind of thought about this one with you with Soul Wealth, Vikki. So I'm excited about sharing that. But I love this whole conversation, because I think this is where people need to be having conversations. We talk a lot about other things that really don't matter a lot of times, and we're not building ourselves up. I think we've been in a few years of a moment to get back to this.
Yeah.
So it's perfect timing to kind of, get right with you first. Cause I think a lot of people out here trying to fix everybody else. And Soul Wealth to me is about fixing you first and getting you right. And then everything kind of aligns itself.
It does. And I will say that Soul Wealth, now I know in hindsight, was written for people to read and hold on to during the pandemic, because I released the book in August of 2019. And March of 2020, the world shut down. I didn't know that in March of 2020, the world would shut down. God knew. So the book was released in August of 2019 and has just been a lifeline for so many people. And for that, I'm really, really grateful. And it's all about timing. And one of the scriptures that I quote a lot is Job 22, the Amplified version. And it says, agree with God quickly so you can have peace and good will come to you. That scripture has just been for me, my regulator, and has kept me grounded throughout the pandemic, even before, but especially during the pandemic. So now that the world has opened a lot more, and we still really should be mindful of what's going on in the world, it's about staying grounded and living fully present in every moment and squeezing out of every moment, right? Being fully present. So that's really the essence of what Soul Wealth is: living aligned, living light, living at ease and flow, and living a life of fulfillment and satisfaction. That's the other piece, that we get to live fulfilled lives and be satisfied with who we are on a daily basis.
Absolutely. I think Sharon Parker is on here. I think she's going to like the use of the word synergy, because you mentioned 2019. And I think if people kind of go back to that moment around that time before the pandemic hit and see how there was a connect where you got your download to move the way you did. Because when you mentioned that the book, I thought 2019 was my year too. And that was a message, and it had to do with communication and learning when to zip it, and listen more to him. And I needed that because when the pandemic hit, that's when I had to shut it down and listen. So there's a direct connect with that. Never mind the fact that even without having, and I know some of you have been to the retreat, you do a lot of retreats, and I like your consistency. So you're totally consistent with this. So, I mean, you'll just constantly see Soul Wealth. And I think she has hit the nail on the head with how to get people to hear the message and then embrace the message and then live, Soul Wealth. I mean, they're just
it's about embodiment. That's why I said it's a way of being. This is not a trend. It's not, something that I'm doing. It's not my 5-year plan. This is my life's assignment that I have embodied Soul Wealth. Like it is, I can access it at any moment because I literally practice what I preach and teach and share and impart to other women. And that just comes from, again, agreeing with God, finding that alignment, and then walking that out from a place of fulfillment and contentment, and just really maximizing all of who God is in me, through me, as me. And that is what I share. Like there's so much more to our lives than what many people settle for. And so Soul Wealth also is a bar raiser to say, you know what? Maybe there is more. And we're here tonight having this conversation, just to share with others, there is more to your life than where you currently are, where you've been. There is so much more when you are willing to come into alignment and stop lunching.
That's right. That part. Because and I'm connecting with everything you're saying because I think I shared with you that recently and this year has been full of exposure to me on things that I need to change because what I discovered was I was missing those moments that you talked about because sometimes we get so involved in the moment or not listening to the true download of how you're supposed to be being. We're busy doing instead of being. And what I noticed was I was missing moments to just embrace what I saw as success. So instead of chasing somebody else's definition of success, sometimes we're already sitting in our success. If we're happy with a family that loves us and we get game night and then why are we chasing all these other things just because that's what everybody else is doing? And when I started to sit still and I started to change some things. So, on the weekends, that's my time. I want to spend it with family. I want to spend it doing nothing. I think a lot of times we don't spend a lot of time doing absolutely nothing. And people don't know how to take that at first. They think it's a brush off or you're changing. But I actually learned to love my space to just do whatever I want to do and not have a due date or a deadline and not feel guilty about it. I think that was the hard thing for me is to not feel guilty that, oh my gosh, I didn't do that callback or, oh, I shouldn't. And so I would always make myself available all day long, every day. I was just horrible with it. I will give credit to Shariva, who, and it's good to have a team around you, friends,
it sure is.
to say, I know she laughs at me when I say this, but to have several seats, okay, sit down, you're doing the most, and to be able to receive it. Because if you think about it, that's where we run into a problem too. We're not ready to receive, somebody telling you when you need to sit down, shut up, whatever it is. But I'm open to it because it's for me. So, yeah, I'm loving this.
That's about trust.
Yeah.
When you can drop down into moments of who you are, moments of solitude. And you know what did that for me? When I started hiking. I started hiking at the top of the pandemic because I just needed something. And I started hiking. And when I started hiking, like it shifted me. I really believe it altered something in me again. I've had multiple moments where I had to pivot. But when I started hiking and being out in nature, it was just something like I was getting downloads. I could hear God, looking at the water, listening to the birds, and I hiked year round, Lisa, in every season, in the snow, in the heat, when it got cold, when it was really hot. So I don't stop. I hike year round, right? I just dress for the season. And that's a word for someone, right? What season are you in? Whatever season you're in, make the adjustments so that you can keep moving. Just because the season changes doesn't mean you have to stop. And that is a lesson for our lives. You just have to assess, what do I need to keep moving through this season? And when I got out there in nature like that, sometimes I would be rock climbing, walking through rivers, chasing waterfalls. Like it's a different experience every single time that I go. And that was about me learning to be comfortable with me, learning like this is who I am.
Yep.
And that's just like, I'm like, I'm a grown woman now, like for real, because I enjoy my company, and doing nothing is doing something, right? It's taking care of me. It's taking care of self. And that's what this is about. And I want to just share really quickly a lesson that I give that I heard many years ago. I was watching Dr. Oz, who has also pivoted into politics at this point. However, he needs to go back to being a daytime talk show host, but I digress. I'm back. So he did this show on heart disease and women. And he talked about how each of us, when we're born, we come here with a certain number of heartbeats. already predetermined, right? And at the end of those heartbeats, if you don't die from an accident or a sickness or illness, if you die from natural causes, it's because you have exhausted all of your heartbeats that were given to you before you were born. We each have that number. And I see and hear God in pretty much everything. And I was like, oh, I only have a certain number of heartbeats? Okay, well, from this moment forward and from that moment to this, I live this way. If it's not worth one of my heartbeats, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
And so my litmus test is this worth one of my heartbeats or 2 or 10 or 100? You know why? Because I can't get those back.
That puts a whole new perspective on things. Oh my goodness.
So if you're watching us, ask yourself from this moment forward, is this worth my heartbeat? Do I want to go hang out tonight or do I want to stay home and do nothing, right? Make sure that whatever you choose, because I say in every moment we live at choice, you get to choose what you exhaust your heartbeats on, knowing you won't get those back. So if you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you really want to do it, go do it, right? That is where I abide and try to be in that place perpetually. Like every moment must mean something.
That's a powerful space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's grown folk conversation right there. Because I think we and I have to admit, I think that's where I'm trying to be. I'm starting to learn it, because I'm finding what brings me peace, and then enjoying that peace. I think a lot of times we don't enjoy. We can't sit still. We talk about people that's always got to be doing something and moving around or whatever, because they're looking for that space that gives them the peace. I know water does it for me. So my goal now is to and that's why I'm definitely working towards retirement, because I want to be in places that have water running, and I don't have anything to do but enjoy the sun and relax. Because I want to remember these moments. I even made and you all would think this is really small, but I know sometimes we would judge people on taking pictures of food and drinks on social media. And I used to be one of those people who's like, what in the world is that all about? But now I kind of feel like when I go on vacation, I go to do something I want to do. If I want to take a picture of my crabs or the drink, whatever it is, I'm just going to snap the picture, because it actually makes me happy to go see the Facebook memories when they pop up and I forgot about it, and then I see it and I'm like, oh my God, that was such a fun time. I love those moments. So I'm going to continue to create them and take pictures even when it drives people crazy sometimes.
And you know what you're doing, Lisa, and I just want to encourage those who are watching, you're leaning into what brings you joy. And I think that is so important, leaning into what brings you joy. Lean into that. Lean into those things, no matter how weird or strange it may look, feel, sound to other people. You don't need permission. Give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to lean into your joy, right? And follow peace. Whatever gives you peace, follow that. I saw a comment a few moments ago, about, I think the context was marriage. Like, what about when you're married and you don't want to go? Well, I offer to you, that's an opportunity for a conversation, because marriage, of course, that covenant relationship is about compromise. It's about give and take. So it's an opportunity. That's why I say, look at it as an opportunity, not an obstacle. You still can lean into your joy. For example, it's a conversation like, okay, I'm going to do this. And in exchange for me doing this, since we're in a partnership, then what I want to do is this, right? That's just a simple example. And I am also a chaplain. I'm an ordained elder and former associate pastor. I do officiate weddings, and I do premarital and postmarital counseling. So it is possible. That's what I want to say. All things are possible. My good friend, Derek Triplett, he posted on Instagram earlier today, and I'm going to share it on my IG. He said prayer this morning. He asked God, he prayed for God to show people where their options are. That was so powerful to me. Show people their options so they don't feel like they have to live at the mercy of life, of a job, of a friendship, of a family member even, right? Because we can't help who we are related to. However, we do get to choose how we engage with them. We get to choose that. So you always have options. If you don't remember anything else we say tonight on Luncheon with Lisa, you always have options. Keep your options open so that you can lean more into your joy and follow peace. I'm going back to that. The last thing I want to say is you have to live an unattached life. Don't be attached to anything or anybody. When you live unattached, you remain pliable. You can go any way at any time because you don't have any attachments. Our attachments, Lisa, cause us to suffer.
Yeah. Yeah, those long-term loyalties, those yeah, it's a whole lot of holes that we have that we feel tied to, or we don't want things to shift and change because, or someone will get mad if you do. And I mean, that's what ties us down most of the time. I know that's what's held me down from a lot of things. And you'll know that that's what it is because when you move, and start to move into you get pushback, you get attitude, you get the energy changes. And then you figure out, and let's be honest, you figure out who your people are. But what I had to learn over the years too is that I have to be okay with the shift, because it's natural, and it doesn't seem natural when you, as you said, locked into people and you're stuck. But when you are not attached that way, then you actually receive the shift a lot better. And it's like, it's okay. It doesn't mean that we're mad. It doesn't mean that there's beef. That doesn't mean any of that. It just means that my life is shifting, and it's okay.
It is okay. And I want to recommend, if you haven't read it, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, which I love his books. The 4 Agreements are always do your best, be impeccable with your word, don't make assumptions, and don't take things personally. And those 4 agreements, when I put them into my life and started living in those 4 quadrants, it changed everything, right? I'm always going to do my best. I'm going to be impeccable with my word. I don't make assumptions. I ask questions.
That's right.
I ask questions. And I don't take things personally. If people are tripping, and I know I'm a loving, caring, nurturing person who loves to follow peace, then that trip is not about me. So I'm not going to make it about me, right?
Ooh,
back to the heartbeats. Yeah, it's a decision though. It's a choice because we have options.
That's right.
Like, I don't have to go with you down that trip. If you come back, maybe we can talk about it. And if you don't, I'm still okay.
Yeah.
Because I am following peace, because I am preserving my heartbeats, because I can't get them back.
I'm gonna have to get that. I have not heard of the 4 Agreements.
The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, Ruiz.
I'm gonna check that out. Thanks for that. And you kind of led us right into, this is so powerful. So you all know, so we're going to share where you can reach out to Dr. Vikki Johnson, but we'll again share at the end of the show where you can reach out to her and join that Soul Wealth tribe. Hear her on her radio show. I mean, it's always a powerful message when we talked or connected. And I love talking and sharing time with people who help me to get to that next level of peace. But I will say, at my 50-some years old, it has taken me a while. And so the reason I like to share and do what I'm doing here is because I want to actually reach people who are not here yet. Like, if you are before 50 and you can get this, you've added
The sooner
some
the better.
time. Right, you've added some time. You get more peace in your life than some of us have, because some of us don't catch it. But I'm willing to keep talking about it and sharing. And so I want to reach those young people too, because they always think this is old people conversation. This is just people conversation. It's not even women conversation. It's men conversation. It's amazing when you start to talk about these things. It actually, you increase these conversations because it makes you feel good. And it does take you to a level of peace that you might not have even been expecting.
Yeah, it does. It's nothing like it. I'm at a stage in my life, where it's all about peace. It is all about the peace for me. Ease and flow or nothing. I don't do drama. I don't do confusion. It's all about peace. I don't make assumptions. If I don't know, I ask questions. I really try every day to treat people the way I want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about the peace for me. I mean that because I want to enjoy my life. I am enjoying. I love my life, actually. And I'm grateful that I had my hard times early. I learned some significant lessons early so that I now can be this lighthouse for others to guide them, to their place of peace, to their place of embodying soul wealth and living. When you are living your legacy, Lisa, it's nothing like that.
I know.
It's nothing like
it's starting to feel so you make me think about when you're younger and you're thinking you got to grow. But I also remember that there are things that I probably did when I was younger that were probably good things. Like I used, how you used to get accused, and I know I would always get accused of being emotional. And I didn't like to stay mad for long. So even if there's something that happened, I was one that would quickly be like, let's talk about it, get over with it, because and I know this is weird. This is on that weird level. I always felt like you're taking up my time for us to be enjoying each other. So let's just get over with it and move on. Even though I know people don't move that way all the time, I was like in a hurry to get back to the goodness. Like, I don't want to stay mad too long. It made me uncomfortable. Because I was like, we're missing time where we can be laughing and joking and playing. And it was like a warp. I think people thought it was a warped way of thinking. Like, people don't move like that. Give them time.
But you know what? Their way was warped. That's what's crazy. Their way was warped because soul wealth, 3rd John, God desires that we prosper and be in health, good health, even as our souls prosper. So when you get this aha, like when this really resonates with you, what you understand is you now get to handpick and coordinate the people who are around you. Like if you're not adding to my life, if you're not causing multiplication in my life, you can't really be up close and personal in my life. Because I am vehemently protective of my peace, of my joy, of my nurturing and nourishment and my growth and my love. I'm protective of that. I'm protective of that because life is meant to be enjoyed and loved and lived, actually. And people who are attached to their suffering, some people are attached to their suffering because that has become their identity. They need an interruption. They need a divine interruption in their lives. And sometimes we have to get out of God's way so God can interrupt people in their suffering, their self-imposed suffering, actually, so that they can get back to their joy. So I'm with you, Lisa. You my people. That's why we on here. I mean, look at our pictures on the graphic that y'all created. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. We cute down there. You see
Hashtag we cute. Sharima know. Hashtag we cute. Absolutely. And you know what I was thinking about was that there are moments where you mentioned something that somebody else has said to me in the past before. You know how people say things about you or do whatever. And I used to get caught up in that. We get caught up in trying to prove them wrong or prove something different. And then I, grew up a little bit and felt like you are right. You mentioned this earlier. If that's not who you are, I started saying to myself out loud, saying, God knows my heart. This is not even how you made up. This is not your makeup. So if somebody's saying something about you and it's not who you are,
just say, okay.
I stopped addressing it because I'm like, why am I trying to prove? I don't have to do that anymore. But I admit I am one of those people that felt like, oh, no, you're not gonna say that about me. And then I spent most of my energy trying to prove something. And I was like, why am I doing this? Like, that's not even who I am. So clearly, the person doesn't know you. They haven't gotten to know you on a level where they know this could never be you. So that's when you say, don't take it personal. You don't know me then. So it's okay. And maybe one day you'll realize, oh, that wasn't her. But I can't spend too much time there. Because
then there are people, honestly, the other part of that is there are people that we just outgrow, right? True. We don't stop loving them. We outgrow them. True. And so what you get the opportunity to do is recreate those boundaries, right? It may mean the relationship ends, it shifts, it's not the same, but there are some people that we outgrow. And I want to say to you, it's okay. It's okay to do that. It is okay to don't shrink so that you can slow down and wait for them to hopefully catch up with you. No, you're doing a disservice to God. You're doing a disservice to yourself. And you know what? You're doing a disservice to them. Because if you don't ascend and expand and evolve and stretch, then nobody moves. You stay stagnant. And anything that stays stagnant becomes infected. And if you don't deal with the infection, it will kill you, right? So you have to really step into a mode and mindset of self-preservation so that you can go ahead and keep moving forward and make room, Harriet Tubman, for those to come behind you to get to their place of freedom.
That's right.
So that they can live this life that God intended. God, I'm telling you, Soul Wealth, that scripture, God desires his dream. God's dream for us is that we prosper and be in good health, even as our emotions, our soul prospers, so that we can live this life of, eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard. And that's where I'm on my way to. That's where I'm living now. I'm about the up level and about the expansion. And that's what Soul Wealth is about.
I love it. I love it. Well, and you think about it this way too, that we have to follow our own downloads so that whoever's supposed, where we're going, they stuck until we move. That's exactly what you said. They stuck until we move. So we don't even know those connections that are waiting on our movements, so that they can move in their own.
And that's something
moving.
And that's something you just said a whole word right there. So some people are waiting on us who we have not even met yet.
Right.
And sometimes we slow down our progress, our forward movement. Sometimes we slow that down because we fear losing people that we are attached to, or who are attached to us. And that's why I said attachments cause you to suffer, and attachments will cause you to miss your blessing, miss your promise, miss your opportunity. And I'm just not doing that.
I love it. This has been wonderful. Look, we could sit here and talk. We ain't gonna keep y'all, but we could sit here and talk to y'all for hours. I know I could. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna shift a little bit because you actually tapped in on it, and I think we talked a little bit about people lunching. But real quick, before we go into a TikTok moment, I'm gonna shift us into a luncheon with Lisa moment. So I want you to share with me something that you think or have noticed that people, kids, animals, whatever, that they're lunching about out there. What's a luncheon moment for you? Because there's a whole lot of crazy stuff going on out here where people are just lunching.
Minding other people's business.
That's a good one. That's a
Mind
good one.
other people's business. Like, mind your business. Put
That's
your
right.
mind on your business so that you can maximize your joy and your fun and your life. It comes back to those heartbeats, right? I mind my business so good.
No, that's right.
Like, stuff happens and I'm like, oh, when did that happen? Really? Like, I was minding my business,
I might
probably
have to put that
somewhere
on the
hiking.
T-shirt. I mind my business so good. I love it. That is, I just like the phrase, because it's like if I saw that on a T-shirt, that would just break everything that's going on with me. Mad,
Yeah.
sad, whatever. I just gotta connect to that. I love that.
Yeah. And I say that as a model. Because peace is paramount for me.
Mhm.
And one of my gifts is to be a safe place for people, not to come and dump. Like, I'm not a dumping ground. I am a safe place
Mhm.
for people. I'm a healer. I know that. So I'm solution driven. What is the solution? Like, because conditions don't exist. We create them.
Okay.
We create them. We have a whole narrative, a whole story. And now I just interrupt people when they start going into their story. I'm like, none of that matters. What is the result you desire? That's where I want you to go to. Because all the stuff in the middle doesn't matter.
That's true.
It doesn't matter.
That's true.
Like, get to the end. What do you want?
Right. To get
That
you
is what is
moving
important.
forward. Because you stay stuck. So what can we do so that you can take that next step forward? And you'll forget all about that other stuff, because it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
So yeah, minding my business. I mind my business.
I like minding my business. So mine is not as good as that. And you all are gonna see this as something really silly, and I probably have mentioned this before because it's just a pet peeve of mine. But I know you all have probably, and I know it's like confession mode. I used to not be a fan of DoorDash and things like that. I'm not a fan of Uber and all those kind of things because my mind takes me all kind of places, and I'm like, I don't know, something about this don't seem right. But I've done DoorDash because of the pandemic. You kind of get into it, whatever. The one thing that I haven't figured out, and I said maybe it's me that's a little slow, but when they deliver your stuff, why is it that they put it in front of the door? So that when you go down to get it, it takes you 20 minutes to maneuver it so you don't knock it over and all that. And I don't know why. Like, what are people not thinking about? Like, that's luncheon to me. Like, why would you do that? And I've literally had people watch me maneuver out of my door to get something when there's clearly space on the side to just put it there. I just think people are lunching. Like, what? Why are you making this so hard? Like, I mean, you're not even thinking. Like,
you're not thinking. That's the point.
We don't take a minute to just think on something as simple as dropping off a bag. You mean to tell me that it never dawned on you, how are they going to open the door? Because I'm like, is this really on another level of selfishness? Like, you don't even care how I get my food. You just like, I did my part. Now you figure out the rest. But
that's
has been a pet peeve. It's been a pet. I bet you people not even think about, yeah, why do they do that? But every time they do it, I literally look up like, really? Like, really? You brought it all the way here so you can watch me try to get it for 20 minutes. I think it's on purpose sometimes.
That's
but
funny.
that was my little moment of luncheon. And y'all probably done heard that before because they just get on my nerves with that. Besides delivering it to the next door neighbor and just
But
saying,
you know what, Lisa? Then the other thing, this is how my brain thinks, right?
Okay.
Maybe they think that your door opens inward and not out.
Okay, so then let's take it. Just because we got a minute. The doors usually go in?
Yeah.
Do they?
A lot of doors open inward. My front door, I open it inward.
The screen door? The screen door doesn't, though, does it?
No.
Okay, so because I have a the screen and then the door. So the door does open this way.
Okay.
But in front of the screen, I'm thinking, come on, y'all.
So then this is how my brain thinks. get a screen door where you could just slide the piece down at the bottom and then reach through the door and grab your
That would be a good idea. or just give them a little stand.
Options. Didn't I say options earlier?
That's right.
There's always a way. But that's funny. That is really funny.
Yeah, that was one I throw out there, but and you're right. There's plenty. We could talk all day long about luncheon, but that's just kind of to show you how sometimes if we just take that moment to just think about it and help your fellow sister, brother to get their food a little bit faster, just put it to the right or the left.
Back a little bit.
Just a little, or put it out a little bit, just a little bit. But I guess we can't have everything our way. We can't have it all our way. So I get it. But that was our little Luncheon with Lisa moment. So what I would love to do before you tell everybody again how to connect with you, I want you to share with everybody what you might have coming up next. What do we have to look forward to from Dr.
I would love for those of you listening to go and check out the Soul Wealth Radio Show, the episodes. They are some phenomenal conversations, wealthy conversations that nurture your soul. I now have a catalog of over 325 conversations, and those are at the top of my website, VikkiJohnson.com, and right at the top, it says Soul Wealth Radio Show, and you can just start listening to those 30-minute episodes. And if you're on a podcast platform, they're also available there on a podcast platform through dcradio.gov, or just type in the Soul Wealth Radio Show and you can listen to those episodes. I won't be doing my own events until 2023. Okay. Speaking at several other people's events. I'm going to other people's stuff.
I know that's right. I need to get
all I gotta do is show up, right? And share Soul Wealth, and usually have a product table, but all of my products are available on my website. I'm on all social media platforms at All Things Vikki, and Vikki is Vikki. I'm out here just flooding the earth with soul wealth, in between going to the beach, in between traveling, in between doing whatever I want to do in the moment, maybe doing nothing. And then in between that, just out here sharing soul wealth and leaning into my joy. Like I said, I practice what I preach. I embody this, and I love my life. I really do. And just thank you, Lisa, for having me on Lunch.
Absolutely. This was an easy button. And so, I know, and you look, and I hope that we get to have you come back and visit us.
I would love to.
And I wanted to mention and remind you all, I don't know if you saw the post that I put out I might have done it over the weekend, but I know I've been talking about the Hidden Treasure Awards, which is my very first award show, sponsored by my magazine that's actually celebrating 10 years this year. And who's going to be awarded. I'm hoping that people will come out and support those. But the hidden treasures for me are those people who they're doing a lot of amazing things right around us. And you don't really know who they are. You're not paying attention. We sleeping on people. We usually look to the same people all the time. It's not to take away from them being celebrated, but I like to actually shine people who you might be surprised at the things that they are accomplishing and doing in our communities. And this is my opportunity to get them out of that hidden space. But I do believe that God has you hidden for certain reasons, and it's on his time. So this is with his download that, he's given me who it's okay to shine a little light their way. So December 17th is the date. The hours will be 6 to 10, and it's at a place out in, I think, Shariva might have to help me with the area, but it's in, I don't know if it's Brandywine, but it's a little down there. It's a facility there. But I am looking forward to having you all come out and check out some hidden treasures. Awesome. So that's coming up. So before we go, we want to have a TikTok moment, because those who know a little bit about me know that I'm a people watcher. Actually, me and my husband love to just go somewhere, sit down, and watch people. It is and interesting. That's where I get the luncheon from, because people out here lunching. We see all kinds of things, but we have a ball doing it. And TikTok is like the perfect place to people watch. But there are a lot of good things out on TikTok. There are a lot of good things to try. There are a lot of powerful, inspirational messages. So I think I have one for you that's going to take us into the weekend. And it actually, to me, kind of connects with what we've been talking here tonight about. And before we had this conversation, I already had decided what this TikTok was be. So you tell me afterwards, Dr. Vikki, if this was kind of on time. So check this out.
The greatest version of you is not the I can do anything version of you. The greatest version of you is the disciplined version of you. The greatest version of you is the version that has parameters. No, I don't do that. I don't drink that. I don't go there with these people. I'm focused. I have a prize that's in front of me. I know what I'm supposed to do, and that ain't it. I have to stay right here.
That's my TikTok moment. What you think? I don't do that. I don't do that. You can't coax me into that. Stand in your lane.
It's about alignment and knowing and trusting what you know.
Yep.
That's the gist of what he just said. Trusting what you know, trusting who you know you to be, and be that.
Stay in my weird space. I love my weird space.
I mind my business.
That's right. That's right. So thank you so much for joining me on Lunchin with Lisa. You are welcome back anytime.
Lisa.
Anytime. This has been great. I want to do it again because these are the kind of conversations I want in my life.
Me too.
I want it's going to help to take me to that next level of peace. And you have helped me to do that today. And I'm hoping that everybody, thank you, Sharon, Victoria, Carol, everybody who's joined in. I don't have all the names, but please continue to tune in. I told you we have awesome guests on this show. I don't tell stories, but y'all please come back every Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you next week. Please go visit my TikTok. I'm so proud of trying to learn some of these young people things. So Lunchin with Lisa has a TikTok, and we share some fun clips from shows and things like that. So check us out on TikTok as well, and share. Just share the shine, share the love, share the information. And thank you, Dr. Vikki, again for everything. This has been great.
All right.
See y'all next week.